Check, check.
Check.
Check, check. That what it was. I don't think we had the
Check, check, check.
yeah. All right, most time Christ. Turn it up for me, bud. Man. Check, check. Give me a one in the chat box and y'all can hear us Bible quick show.
Yeah, they can hear.
They good.
Come on, come.
Hmm? Pop smoke. Y'all hold tight while quick show.
Come on, come, sir.
Hold tight.
We good on the Facebook.
Most time Christ. Okay. Clap it up, Bible show. Shalom, shalom. Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Bragatham to the Akim. Shalom Yahweh Shema. Alathan Bahashim Yahweh Sas to the sisters. Once again, we're the ISUPK Star, the One West, 125th Street, Hall, New York, operating up under commanding Junior Hunter.
Right.
If you're not in the ISUPK, you are not in the truth.
That's right.
What is the truth? The so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the Lord's chosen children. There's nothing more imperative right now than Black, Hispanics, Native Indians waking up and understanding their true identity and true culture according to the Bible. Having that culture and passing it down throughout your generations give us all of the opportunity for something better than the life that we live now. Tonight is the biblical brotherhood class in ISUBK that we teach across the nation using YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. What else? What's the other one we done? What's the one? TikTok, TikTok. We use all social media outlets to reach our people, man. And if you have a loved one that you truly care about and you understand how important this message is, share it with them. You know what I'm saying? You on your Facebook, you're looking at right now, share it with your friends and your family and the people that you love. If you have people that have questions, have them tune in and put their questions in the chat box. And we'll answer your question. If we cannot answer your question, we'll get to them. Tonight is what, the Brotherhood class, right?
Come.
So with Brotherhood, there are some things that come along with Brotherhood, okay? And we also Brotherhood, and we also know that Brotherhood is also synonymous with what? Sisterhood, right? So when we talk about brotherhood, we're also talking about sisterhood. So oftentimes you may hear in the Bible, go to your brother and him alone. You also refer to your sister as well. There's a way that we can fix any issue or any problem, any disagreement that we have with each other according to the Bible.
Right.
Not according to America. You have disagreements with a brother or sister according to how America handle their problems. You end up in a gang. You'll be in a blood or a crip or, gangster disciples, GD folk, keep going, vice lords.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, you know what I'm saying?
King.
Latin Kings, what is it? MS-13s.
That's right.
That's how the world teaches us how to resolve our problems. What ultimately ends up not changing a damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
We talking about real brotherhood is being able to go to someone and say, it's my fault. Or I think that it's your fault. And with that understanding, we both have the responsibility of changing it. It's accepting the accountability, if I may. In this earth, it is rare that you find people that hold people to a high level of accountability. In the ISUPK, you are taught day in and day out to live your life with a higher level of accountability, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tonight I want to go into a topic, man, that's pretty relevant to all of our lives. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I and I thank the water bunk y'all for allowing me to, you know what I'm saying, chime in on this one. But I don't know, man. Just thinking about it, this topic, we're gonna go into like children. All right. Being able to, y'all ever heard of the term train up your child? You ever heard of that term before? So when you say train up your child, what is that? What is the mindset? Or what are the things that come to your mind first when we say train up a child? What do you think? We're gonna go around the room. You might turn your mic down, son, just a little bit.
Which one is that? Oh, I see it. I see it. Check, check, check.
Check, check, check.
Three. Mic three from the right.
This is my three. Is this one my three? So like, yeah.
1, 2, that's three.
This is three.
Yeah. You can turn it back up, but you gotta turn the game down on top.
Oh, so like,
Yeah, you got it wide open. On three though. Okay.
I'm on two. So
All right.
there we go.
There we go. We're gonna get right.
Hold on, notification is there.
So, but you can turn it back
Check,
up now.
check,
Yeah.
check, check, check,
Keep going.
check, 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 check. There we go.
Check. Yeah. We're good.
It's a lot, if I may. So you talking about training? I can't help but to think of the things that you teach, things that you would teach a child. Like keeping your hands to yourself. Or teaching a child how to share the things that are appropriate to share. Teaching a child how to, dress themselves. Teaching them not to wet the bed. Teaching them how to sit at the table. You teach them social etiquette. You teach them conflict resolution. Those are the things when you talk about a training. That's a lot.
That drive me crazy.
Yo, come on. We good? Check.
Come on. What you saying? Comfort resolution. If the mic don't work, then the hell with it.
Right. No.
Right.
But when we talk about training, like you're literally, raising this child up to be what it is that you want them to be, based off of the example that you set for them. It's
Right.
conditioning.
Right. It's just like anything else in earth. Repetitiveness is what we all learn from, right? Quadon, what you was about to say, brother? You say train up a child. What does that mean to you?
Salaki, y'all touched on a lot of it. I was gonna say, but like you said, it's like you set the standard for that child. It's like whenever you training up a child, it's like, if I could, you think about us Ayathan, he'll never have to worry about his children knowing what Christmas is or, growing up and thinking about celebrating their birthday. They've been trained to know that this is the truth. This is the home of the truth.
Right.
I'm an Israelite.
Right.
So these are the things that I'm going to be trained to do is to follow the customs of being an Israelite. Salaki,
Right.
sir.
Damn right. Anybody else want to chime in on what you ever heard the expression train up a child? Sisters, about for sure.
So, train up a child. I think for me, growing up, it was you teach your children how they should act. The path that you want them to take, you train them in that way. Now, if they decide to go another direction, that's on them.
Right.
But you teach them the right path to go down, like manners, how they talk to people, their actions when they're around you, not around you, those things. You're training them up. So when they become adults, they know how to conduct themselves.
Right. So give yourselves a hand. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, see, we all had a concept of train up a child, right? Train up a child. But we come into this truth as adults, not knowing that there's a lot that we missed for us training up a child. How much of your childhood was wasted with doing things that were vain and had nothing to do with serving the Lord? When we talk about training up our children, we teach them the manners and how to say yes, ma'am, no, yes, sir, no, sir. All those things are very they're very useful when going into different social environments, if I may, right? But the only thing that really helped us and our children is us being obedient to the Father. Like we train up our children not to celebrate holidays, not to eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, and to be good children to fathers and their mothers, right? So these are the standards that we want to push into our children. You know what I'm saying? In this day and age, we lost in this earth today. Straight up, we are lost in this earth today. Like you walk up to the average Black, Hispanic, Native Indian child and ask them a few questions about life, they won't have many answers. You understand what I'm saying? And this empire is designed for us to get so socially involved. We get further and further away from knowing what it means to train up a child. The slaveries that we have, sometimes we be so involved, we miss raising up our children, right? And because of oppression, guess what you'll do? You'll work that slave, you, father, right, and the mother will be so involved with making sure that the bills are paid. Guess who suffers? The child. So so what we do is we tend to enroll in sports. You know what I'm saying? We tend to enroll them in things that are absolutely vain. And you know, ain't nothing wrong with playing basketball or football or sports. You know, that's not the thing. But for parents nowadays, we push our children into the directions of sports and all kind of social programming just for us to do what we want to do. Just to work overtime at the slave, all those things that we overlook because we don't want our children getting in the way of our success, if I may. You understand? So we have to get back to knowing how to measure success, right? So how do you measure success? What is success measured on? Come on.
So, like, if I may, results,
right? So when we're talking about training up our children, right? We have to be able to analyze our children and say whether we consider them to be successful or not, right? So we see the results of what our work does, right? And sometimes when you look at your children, it can be a direct reflection of yourself. So whether you're doing the proper training or not, it's a direct reflection. And when you see your child do something, you like, I knew he was gonna do that. Y'all ever done that before? You ever see your child do something? I said, I knew he was gonna stick his hand in that fan. You know what I'm saying? Like you just look at him, right? So when we talking about training up our children, right? It's so important because you think about it. We're living in a place that the Most High warned us about. Y'all get what I'm saying? The standard that we live today, this is the place that the Most High warned us about. Our fathers warned us about this, right? Our mothers, you know what I'm saying, the prophetess, they warned us about these things. I don't mess around, start yelling. Which one? It's a lot. Check. Yeah, you turn it back down now. Yeah. Check. Most High in Christ. So we're living in a place that our forefathers warned us about, right? So what were some of the warnings that our forefathers warned us about in training us up, right? Y'all know what I mean by some of the things our forefathers taught us? Come on, yeah. So we're talking about the curses. So explain that for me, Bob.
Salakia. So with respect to Moses and the elders of Israel,
Mm-hmm.
you know, by us not following God's law, statutes, commandments,
Mm-hmm.
you know, certain curses befell us.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, one of the primary curses was us being scattered,
Mm-hmm.
you know, us going into slavery via cargo slave ship,
Mm-hmm.
you know, our sons and our daughters being given unto another people and no might being in our hand, you know, a nation of fierce countenance being, you know, coming against us.
Come on. So all these things we were warned about, right? It's like if you warn your child, what do you want them to do once you give them a warning? You want them to consider what you're saying. Right. Our problem was we didn't consider what our fathers were saying. You understand? We became what we're living in today, this place that we're living in, we became a reflection of what our forefathers did not do. You know what I'm saying? The hell that we live in today, we become a reflection of what our parents, our great-great-grandparents did not do. The thing that we lost by being disobedient to who? Our Father. So we talk about the communities today, the reason why they're getting worse, it's a direct reflection of what we did not have. You understand what I'm saying? You see the drugs and the murder, the infestation, it's always been there. But with each generation that is void of the truth, guess what happens? It gets worse. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So you may have a standard of living, but the minute you decide to take that shortcut, our children suffer. You understand? Like the minute you decide to make something more important than being obedient to the Father, like not paying your tithes, somebody gonna suffer, Kawal. You understand? By not being a brother, somebody's gonna suffer because of that. By not being a sister, somebody's gonna suffer because of that, right? So just like I asked earlier, what are some of the things we remember growing up? We remember things like saying no, sir, yes, sir, no, ma'am, may I, please. Y'all remember saying things like that? You don't run into children nowadays that say much of those things, many of those things. And we wonder why it seems like the children, they just get so disrespectful. They're not disrespectful, we're just not teaching them. You know what I'm saying? We're not teaching them because everybody is so over involved with chasing the bag. Everybody trying to get the bag, everybody trying to get the money. And who is suffering? The children. The children are lacking the guidance and the proper tutelage that they need to get from A to B. That's why we're talking about train up a child. If you're looking at things that in your life and saying, you know what, damn, I wish I could have done this different. Well, it don't just stop with you saying, I wish I could have done different. If you have children, guess what? They need the same thing that you need. Because somewhat, you ever had that conversation with yourself and maybe something that you did not like as a child, right? You said, when I raise my children, I'm not going to do this to my kids. You ever had that conversation with yourself? Well, you got to remember that it's not the fact that you're not going to do it. There's a balance that takes place. Because that was a reason of why certain things were done a certain way, whether you want to believe it or not. So there's a balance of you saying whether you're not going to do it, or there's a balance of maybe your parents did not understand. Either way, it was still training. It was still something there for you to understand, to implement in your life for your children, right? So we talk about training up a child. It's not just all the things that they teach us, the no ma'am, the yes ma'am, and all that. It's this book right here. It's this Bible. This is the thing that we miss. You can teach a child to say, I know a whole bunch of dope dealers that sell dope all the goddamn time. Them niggas will say, hey, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. You meet a brother that done did about 5 or 10 co-op where they say, yes, sir, yes, sir. Them niggas be polite when they get out of jail, boy. And then what Charleston White say? He said they be good dads when they get out of jail. Charles White say jail is good for a nigga's ass. It's a lock you for my language. But it's the enforcement of a standard that you have when you go to jail or prison, right? So when we talk about raising up a child, we have to have the same type of enforcements of what we do from day to day and how we raise our children, right? And also know this: it is definitely a burden to raise a child. I know some people say, "Oh, having kids is such a wonderful thing." Oh, baby, mwah, you know what I'm saying? But it's a burden. So why would I say that? Anybody want to say? Did anybody? All of us experience like some form of raising children here. So why would I say that it's a burden to raise a child? Or do y'all think do you differ? You think that it's not a burden to raise children, or what? Come on.
Oh, Slaki, I think it is a burden. It depends on the context of raising a child because, children didn't ask to be here in a sense. So, when you have children, you have to really put your wants and needs on the back burner for them. Mm-hmm. And, and that does come with a sense of a burden, meaning that you have to make sure this child doesn't die. Mm-hmm. Usually it's just you making sure you don't die.
Right.
Your self-well-being, self-preservation is first. But we have children. What's that in your mouth? Come here. Who's doing that? Hey, y'all sit down. It's constant that. Mm-hmm. And that comes with a burden of every minute of the day you're consumed with what is this child doing while I'm not around? Mm-hmm. In their classroom, are they chewing their food all the way? Is he talking with his mouth open? Is he saying yes, ma'am, no, ma'am? If you got a child that's allergic to something, he's eating something, he got to, you know what I'm saying? If you have a child that, any I don't care if he's perfectly healthy. You're still worried about, is he on the monkey bars acting a fool again? He gonna break his arm. It's mentally draining if you really love your children.
Facts.
And that is a burden that we carry. And when you don't have children, I can't even remember how it felt to be free without them.
Facts.
I don't remember that feeling. Right. I just know that I don't even know what the hell I was doing. But I know as soon as that baby comes out, you're just like, man, I got to make sure this child does not die on my watch.
God.
You know what I'm saying? So that comes with even the burden of bearing their sadness when you tell them no. Yeah. You want them to go to a pool, but you know how people are at a pool. They're not watching. Right. So, baby, I want you to go to Ted's house and go swimming, but you might be the one to drown.
You're right.
So it's a burden when it comes with all that, but it's positive. Okay. It teaches you not to be selfish.
Mm-hmm. Give him a hand, Most High in Christ. You had some bunk, y'all?
No, I was just going to give you the definition of burden.
Please.
According to Merriam-Webster, burden, something that is carried, a load, duty, responsibility, something oppressive or worrisome. The bearing of a load, usually used in the phrase beast of burden, capacity for carrying cargo, a load.
Well, you talking about raising children, you're absolutely right. Come on, sis.
I have to agree with Officer Kawal when he says it can be a burden, because you know this for a fact. Her first field trip that I wasn't able to go to, I kept thinking about, well, did I teach her everything? Did she remember everything I told her not to go with strangers? And I spiraled on the telephone with you talking about it, because it's a burden, because you worry. Have you done everything you need to do when you're teaching your children? Did I mess up? Did I not do this? It can be a burden.
And that's part of training up a child. Like you sometimes we don't realize how influential the things that we do. We do, well, maybe we don't. As a parent, we have to think about how influential our actions are to our children, is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? You like certain things that I've learned and being in this school and understanding how Commander Jenny Hunter acts and what he's taught us, like arguing in front of your kids, that's not being a good parent. Like using drugs and, smoking. I just remember as a child, like, Mom, what's that funny smell in here? You know what I'm saying? But not knowing, like, as you begin to be an adult, you realize that, wait a minute, what y'all? So when you see the things that take place in your childhood, you also reflect on maybe some of the things that your parents did that you realize maybe they could have done better as an adult. So, and you understanding that as we begin to grow and get older, it becomes a burden. Because you know what you start to think about? My mama, my dad, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. So sometimes we overcompensate. You understand? So like Kawal said, sometimes it's good to, as a man, we watch our young boys fall. But sometimes I remember being scuffed up from head to toe and don't you cry, get up. I'm like, man, I'm bleeding out here. You know what I'm saying? My arm like this, and like, man, you see. Like, but that's how we get taught. But now it's like, but when you see it's your child, what goes to your mind? Like, hell no. You want to be an aid to your children. Now, you don't want to turn them into no, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes they're going to fall. They're going to hurt themselves. So sometimes it's good to catch them. You understand? If you can. But not when you see a child is in danger or hurt and be like, even like, back in the day, we thought it was cool to throw kids in the pool. They're like, single swim. Oh, he learned how to swim like that. Your child, look, he out there. You about to kill your child. You know what I'm saying? But what they say, doing it with my kid, that's how I learned how to swim. What? There's no better ways to learn how to swim? Come on, Bucky. I also like it.
That's so heavy because, you see the value of this truth. And you can weed out what was destructive as far as, the things that were damaging to you and your development. You can avoid damaging your children. You deal with a lot of compartmentalized trauma that you unpack when you come into the truth.
You got them right.
You sit at the feet of the prophets and they're like, that was wrong.
That was wrong.
Know what I'm saying? That was abuse. That was
good
violence.
Night. You don't, Most High Christ, give him a hand. Like we've been traumatized as a people. And we've learned to accept trauma. You know what I'm saying? And so many things that we talk about oppression in this empire is trauma. You understand? We talk about General Muhammad, he talks about internalized racism. We bear that burden. We bear the burden so much that we begin to look at ourselves as being the problem. Well, if you don't raise your child up properly, guess what? They'll begin to think that they're the problem. You understand what I'm saying? Your child growing up like, maybe I made daddy mad. Why is daddy mad at me? You understand? Well, daddy not mad at you. Dad and mom can't get along. Those things affect our children. You understand? So we have to raise them in a manner to always be willing to carry that burden, like Kawal said. You know what I'm saying? Look at it like I can put them on my shoulders. And by putting them on my shoulders, I am able to protect them. I'm able to guide them. I'm able to teach them. Those things help us all. You understand? That's what's going on. All right. So let me get the book of Isaiah 52:1, Baba Kushaw. Now we see and we, like you said earlier, Bunk, y'all, we look at our babies and we see they are the reflection of us. So we carry the burden well. We're Tawab. What's that? Everything Tawab? Okay. You got it?
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 52, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Awake, awake, put on the strength, O Zion. Put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the city, the holy city. For henceforth there shall no more come into thee the uncircumcised and the unclean.
Right. So with raising us up, right, we're understanding how to raise up a child and how to take care of a community. This is how we do it. We have to do what? Read that verse again.
Awake, awake.
Wake up. Right. So how many of us when we the so-called conscious community today talk about how awake that they are, but their awakeness just really goes into buying into the philosophy of America, which is Christianity. Right. So they're not awake, even though if they study Egyptology, they're not awake. They study Scientology, they're not awake. They go into any form of religion, they're not awake. You understand? And how do you know it? Read on after awake.
Put on thy strength.
Because they don't have any strength. You look at all the things that we dive into the earth, it doesn't create strength for us. You understand? Christianity has not created strength for us. Right. We've been in the church, glory, glory, hallelujah. We've been singing all those songs. How much strength the Black, Hispanics, Native Indians have in this empire? None. Right. They put on what you call them things, Kawal, when they go into Islam, the hijabs and the kufi and the head garments. But these are some of the brothers I know sell more dope than damn CVS. And they bob and hit their head on the damn thing 3 times. How many times a day? 6 times a day? I don't know. I lost count because it makes no sense. It's vain. There is no strength in it. So that way you know that they're still what? Sleep. All right? Read on.
Put on, Salakia, O Zion, put on thy beautiful garments.
What does that mean? What does it say when it say put on thy beautiful garments, Baba Kashaw?
So like if I may, we talk about O Zion, we're talking about Israel.
Come.
You know, putting on thy beautiful garments, meaning remove the covering of the other nations.
Facts.
Put on the covering I gave you and you alone.
That's right.
These laws, statutes, commandments, this truth. Salaki.
And having those things, anybody was at the Lord's 54th Passover, if you put on the thing that the Lord say that we should put on, it makes us look what? Glorious. That's right. You understand? Putting on that thing that the Lord gave us makes us look good. You understand? So when we talking about raising up a child, it's important that we teach them to put on their garments. That's why we pass down our garments. You understand? Sisters, y'all may know what I'm talking about. You get to a certain age, little girls like to play what? Dress up. Why do they like to play dress up?
Salaki, because they're usually imitating their mothers.
Imitating their mothers, right?
Grandmothers.
Yeah, because it's all in training, right? So you see how influential, like the influences of child rearing is. You understand? The umbrella or the environment that you want to create for good child raising, right? You want to put on good garments. What else do little girls love to do after they dress up? What the first thing that in Salakia, I know they do this. I ain't saying Christmas is unlawful, right? But in the world, what do little girls look forward to when they get around the age about? What's the age, Bunky? I know you know. About what? 4?
Salaka, are you talking about like makeup, and lip gloss, or hair?
The other thing, not the heels either. It's one more thing. Now we don't call out the makeup. We don't say the heels. It's one more thing that women are really good for. They don't like when we say it, but they really good at it. What is that one thing? Come on, Warrior.
It's like your wigs.
No, brother. You about to get beat up here. You about to get lumped up here trying to win. You about to get lumped up. What's the other thing? Cooking. Give them a hand. You understand? You see the little girls, Bunky. Y'all can tell you this. That brother said wigs. That little girl. You right. Little girls do like to get in their mama's wigs and stuff, right? They do. They get in there. I give them that. Yeah, I give them that. But it was crazy. But the other part about it is when we talk about Kodam said cooking, right? So how many of us had girls and the first thing we get them was a cook set? The easy bake oven or the how many piece set that Tuda had? What she had? How many pieces that thing came in? 300 pieces. You know what I'm saying? You got to put all those things together. That's a child or a young girl would want to do those things because she seen who doing it. Her mother. What do little boys like to do? Pretend like they shaving. You know what I'm saying? Shaving, whatever that thing is. My son, my bun, deodorant. He ain't got nothing up under there. How you grow a beard? It's all those things that we see, and they want to imitate that. But when we put on our garments, we put on the way that the Lord told us how we should be and live. Our children imitate that. When they come to class, they want to be like, they want to say shalom. Right. You know what I'm saying? But I remember back in the day, you seeing an uncle roll up, what was you thinking? I want to bust down I'm busting down a blunt, Philly too. You learning how to cook up crack. You're learning what cocaine smells like once it cooked. Right. That stuff don't leave your mind. You ever smelled blood before? It don't leave your mind. So when you expose your children to that lifestyle, they carry those things, right? So we want to be able to put on the righteous garments of the Lord, right? Read on.
O Jerusalem, the holy city.
The separate city, right? Us as a whole, we're supposed to be separate. Right. We are a whole different land from everybody else. That's right. You understand? Things that were done in Jerusalem was completely different from all the other nations. You understand? All the other cities that was on the earth, because it was holy. It was separate, right? Read on.
For henceforth there shall no more come into the uncircumcised and the unclean.
Why? Because it's different. But look at us now. Look at all the things that we're dealing with today. We're dealing with all type of uncircumcised or unclean things. So when the scriptures say uncircumcised, it's just not talking about the foreskin of a penis. It's also talking about what else? Anybody know? Come on, Kawhi.
Like being uncircumcised in your spirit, you know what I'm saying? Like not just your physical part, but like, the foreskin of your mind, like, the traditions of men, the birthdays, the zodiac signs, right? The Christmas, right? The hating your brother and sister, right? Like those things got that extraness we call foreskin got to go. You know what I mean? And that's the being uncircumcised. And then also too, we call heathens uncircumcised, whether they are or not, facts, because they don't have our traditions. Right? And the wrong spirit any damn way.
They're not, and to be uncircumcised is also considered to be what? Unclean. Right. So when we talk about how to protect our children, we're supposed to be that fortress around them. That's how the Lord wants us to be. The Lord wants us to be like that daughter of Zion with beautiful garments on. You know what I'm saying? Doing it his way, not uncircumcised, not being unclean, right? And that's what we want to raise our children in. Today, they're surrounded by lies, like Kowal said. They're surrounded by zodiac signs, horoscopes. They get it early. What's the most of the time they teach kids how to read newspapers at an early age. And what are some of the first things that they teach them how to do? Go to the zodiac signs. Yeah, they don't teach them about actually how to read. They teach them how to go to the zodiac signs in the newspaper. Ain't there something? We're surrounded by unclean things, right? The Lord said we're supposed to be a holy city of Jerusalem. You understand? Read on the word, y'all. About Kasha.
Verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
Shake thyself from the dust. Arise and sit down, O Jerusalem. Loose thyself from the bands of thy neck,
Mm-hmm.
O captive daughter of Zion.
Right. So somebody break that down for me, Baba Kasha. Come on with it. You know it.
So like I said, if I made it, it's such a heavy precept you bringing out. But like I said, shake thyself from the dust is like the dust is like the lowest state.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we are in that lowest state. You know, we
Mhm.
got brothers living on, benches and things like that. And when you are unclean, you are at a very low state as well.
Right.
So like I said, shake thyself of the dust. How we do that is by putting on the beautiful garments when it comes to the law, statutes, and commandments.
There you go.
It says arise and sit down. So, arise and sit down, going back to where you said as a babe, is like when you arise, you realize you are, the daughter of Zion, you're an Israelite.
Mm-hmm.
Now you sit down, it's like, when you're a trooper, you come here and you shut your damn mouth and you learn.
Come.
You understand? So when you
Right.
sit down, now it's like, pay attention to what's going on. I come to you as a babe so I can be taught
Right.
how to actually be an Israelite.
Mm-hmm.
So then it says also, Jerusalem. So we know this talking about Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians. It said, loose thyself from the bands of thy neck. America's a band on our neck today, man, because we know America's hell for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
Right.
So whenever we put on the spirit of the Most High and do what He says, we loosen those bands on our neck. Instead of us celebrating Christmas, we celebrate Hanukkah.
Right.
Instead of us celebrating Thanksgiving, we celebrate the Feast of Unleavened Bread.
Right.
You know what I mean? So then again, it says, it says, "Oh, captive daughter of Zion," which is, I feel like that's one of the heaviest parts because, again, we know we're living in captivity.
Right.
If this was supposed to be the Jewish man that it was talking about, when was he in captivity ever?
Right.
So, like I said, it's talking about Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. So, like,
give them a hand, y'all. Most High in Christ. Beautifully. Come on with it, brother.
No, that's brother. Yeah, that was heavy. That was real heavy. But what stands out to me in this verse too is it says, "Loose thyself from the bands of thy neck," meaning that we have the power to change. The culture, the traditions, the things that we hold on to. Ain't nobody twisting your arm to celebrate Christmas. Ain't nobody twisting your arm to say Happy Mother's Day or to blow out birthday candles. We doing these things to ourselves. Right. So it says, "Loose thyself."
Absolutely right.
So like we got the power to do that.
Yeah.
Salakia.
Sitting around waiting for nothing.
Right.
You understand? We talk about this verse. I thought about it. I was sitting there like, man, this is dope. So, you know what I'm saying? It's plain. I'm just thinking about how could you break this thing down for us to understand this thing? When you say it's like from the dust. You ever see like a homeless man on the street before? Y'all ever seen a homeless man like laying on the ground, like just down, just out? That's the dust. Like he's there. Like he at his lowest state. You understand? Right. Like everything that he has is dirty. You understand? Even the things that they value, it's all dirty. It's not clean. It's like even the food is unorganized all over the place. You know what I'm saying? That's what we've become in this place. We are people that are unorganized. Everything that we do is uncircumcised, like Kowal said, unclean. The food that we eat is all over the place. Who benefits from a homeless man? Nobody. You understand what I'm saying? A homeless man that does what? He's only there to consume. That's what we say. Black, Hispanics, Native Indians are some of the biggest consumers that are on the earth. But yet and still we could get up. You can get thyself up. You understand? Now, some brothers that are on the street maybe don't have the mental capacity to actually give up. But Israel, the Bible is describing us, though. We have that. We have the mental capacity to get up, but we're not using the tool. You understand what I'm saying? It's like a homeless man. Like we're like the homeless man with a briefcase that's right beside us that has millions of dollars in it. But we have our heads down looking for the change that are the little pennies over here, the little quarter that's over here. We got our hands out asking for change. But the Lord has got $1 trillion in a briefcase that's right here beside us. All we gotta do is recognize that it has our name on it. You understand? Right. It has your name on it. Now, we so drunkard, right? We can't see it. You understand? We're so, inflicted by drugs and oppression. We can't see that the briefcase has our name on it, and it has the passcode. The passcode is simple, like 1, 2, 3. This money is for me. That's it. That's it. But we don't even want to touch that suitcase, Bunk, y'all. We're stuck trying to grab the pennies. We're like junkies, if I may. You know what junkies do all day? You know what junkies do all day? They wait for somebody to bring them their high. You understand? We're like that. We're waiting on somebody to bring us a 4th of July. Waiting on somebody to bring us a Christmas. You understand? A day off, a Valentine's Day. And soon as we get our fix, we right back. Then the fix wear out. Then where do we go, Quinell? Right back to the streets. Right back to our lower state, man. Dog, the Most High told us to get up. Get up, right? And then what it say? Shake thyself loose from the bands on our neck. What are those bands? The things that has us in prison. That's what bands are used for. Used to control you, right? And they on your neck, meaning what? It's hard to look around. It's hard to see what's coming. You know what I'm saying? You ever had a crook in your neck before? I know y'all ever know what I'm talking about. You have a thing that's in your neck, and somebody call your name, you gotta turn all around like this. It's hard for you to see something, Bucky, yo. Well, that's what this place is. You know what I'm saying? The bands that are on our neck, it makes us hard to turn and look. The Lord said we can break those, oh daughter of Zion. We can and you know how you remove that thing from around your neck, or you have a crook in your neck. You got to work it out. Everybody, you remember doing this right here? You don't work no crook out of your neck by just letting it stay there. You gotta roll your neck sometime. Well, that's what the truth is. The truth is us doing the work to break that thing off our neck. So what? So we can look around. So we can be aware. And guess what? Once you begin to look around, you may just see that suitcase over there, Bunk, y'all, that has your name on it. Israel, the true, lost children of the Lord, right here, Black, Hispanic, Native Indian, right here. And then you look, oh man, it's right here the whole time. Right. Then you can get up. Read on the way, y'all. And Salakia too. Just you talk about bands. You talk about we become slaves to a doctrine that of a people that how I say we become slaves to a doctrine from a people that hates the Lord. That makes sense what I'm saying? We become slaves to a doctrine from a people that hates the Lord. Like the oppressor is the adversary of the Lord. So why would we trust their religions? Why do we get so engulfed in what his name? Michael Todd? Mike Todd, that's his name, Mike Todd. We become slaves to Christianity, but it's not beneficial to us. You understand? We become slaves to Islam, but it's not beneficial to us at all. They eat off us because we go into those religions, not learning that this is based off brotherhood, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. That's how we work that thing out. All right. Read verse 3.
Come on, sir. Verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
For thus saith the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
ye have sold yourselves For not
You've done what?
ye have sold yourself
We've sold ourselves for what?
for naught,
Read on.
and ye shall be redeemed without money.
So we've sold ourselves for nothing. We giving ourselves away to nothing, Bunky, y'all. We've given our children away to nothing. We give our children away to the police force. We've given our children over to the armies. We've given our children over to the Air Force, Marines. We've given our children over to Christianity. We've given our children over to PWIs. And it's all been for what? For nothing. We've given our children over to sports. And it's all been for what? For nothing. You got guys that be in the NBA. Sean Kemp, one of the prolific basketball players of our time. I've seen him play. It's like, good. He just jumped over this man and dunked the ball. A whole man. You know what I'm saying? He jumped over this guy and dunked the ball. I think Sean Kemp was on the news a couple weeks ago shooting at some guy in the parking lot. Right. All that for what? For nothing. Right? And think about how many times he, in the NBA, they get called niggas. Shoot the ball. You know what I'm saying? Now black brothers trying, now get him out the arena. He called me the N-word and stuff like that. But back then that was unheard of. Right. Bill Laimbeer and all them, they talk trash to us. Come on, man. We done all that for what? For nothing, right? Read on, y'all.
Verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
For thus saith the Lord.
For this is what the Lord says. Go ahead.
God, my people went down aforetime into Egypt to sojourn there.
Uh-huh.
And the Assyrian oppressed them without cause.
Without what?
Without cause.
That's us today. Read on.
Verse 5. Now therefore, what have I here, saith the Lord?
So we went down into Egypt, sojourned into Egypt, and they oppressed us without cause, right? Like I said earlier, we giving ourselves over to nothing. The things that were in Egypt didn't mean a damn thing to the Lord. That's why he destroyed Egypt. And guess what? We give ourselves over to this oppressor today. For what? Views on Facebook? People are addicted to views on Facebook. Y'all know that, right? People are addicted to Instagram. No, I don't girl be doing that. I just want to ride. Damn. Yeah. But it used to be cool. They just do the regular dances, right? But now you see the sisters on it. They take off everything. Like it's just how many all the clothes I need to take off so I can get these views up because they're getting paid to do that. That's what I learned. I thought it was just like, oh man, they just want to be famous. Like, they're getting paid to be on Instagram and Facebook to take their clothes off. Y'all knew that? Sisters, you knew that? I didn't know that. I didn't know you get paid. I thought on YouTube you get paid for views, but I didn't know on Facebook you can get paid for views. I didn't know on Instagram you can do like promotion and they get paid for that. Right. And then I also seen how some brothers, they get smart. So what they do is they see the sisters that get paid off that and they build these pages and they'll have all the sisters that dancing and all that stuff. And they'll have them on like a, what you call it, Quadon? They have them on a, I don't mean like that. I mean like, okay, come. I mean like, it's a promotion page. And they still get paid from even somebody else doing the work. You know what I'm talking about, sis? You never seen that? Like you have a normal personal page, right? Like Quadam Yahawada, that's your personal page, right? But then you will have somebody who knows how to work the system. They'll take like maybe your picture, right? And they'll post it on their page to increase their views. And they get paid from what other people do. You knew that? I didn't know that. What you got?
Salaki, this is according to The Verge.
Okay.
It says the Reels Play bonus program announced in July offers financial rewards to creators who post on Reels, Instagram's TikTok-style short format video clone. Payouts range from $600 to as much as $35,000 if videos hit a target view count. but creators expressed confusion over how payments and goals were determined.
Hmm.
The bonus program is part of a promise by Meta, which owns Instagram, to pay $1 billion to creators through the rest of this year. Last year.
Good night. So they living in the metaverse, right? They living in an alternate reality. So, but the real reality is you're losing all your dignity. You're losing all your self-esteem. You're losing all your pride. And it's all for what? For nothing. Because when your child get of age, remember we're raising children. Well, mom, what did you used to do? I was on TikTok. Damn, yeah. Show it to me. Nah, baby, I can't show you this. Right? They're doing it all for nothing, just like we done in Egypt, okay? Read on. Read verse 5.
Now therefore, what have I here,
Mhm.
saith the Lord, that my people is taken away for naught.
Mm-hmm.
They that rule over them make them to howl.
They make them to do what?
Howl,
Uh-huh.
saith the Lord. And my name continually every day is blasphemy.
Right. The Lord's name is continuously blasphemy in this place, huh? When you talk about the absence of brotherhood and sisterhood, you know, and this empire, like we went over it last night in class. They are constantly trying to destroy the Bible. They're trying to take the Bible and turn it upside down and trying to completely eliminate it, right? But what does that do for us and our children? It makes it harder for us to raise our children because they are trying to what? Blaspheme the name of the Lord. They teach us that Yahushua was, you know, some white devil. They teach us that Christianity is of the Lord. They teach us like, you know, in God we trust in the dollar. All those things goes against the Lord. But guess what? When you think about it, these are the things that we are raising our children up in. You understand? From generation to generation. And that's why the Lord asks us to wake up. Because it's our children that are on the line. Y'all get what I'm saying? It's your children that's on the line. If you don't wake up, then guess what happened to them? Your children will give themselves over to something that means what? Absolutely nothing. And that's what this place is. So I just want to start off with those verses, man, and going into it and understanding how the Lord wants us to view things, how he wants us to do things. So we about to get into it now, raising up a child and just understanding what this place is versus what thus says the Lord, okay? Let me get 1 John 2 and 3 Bible quiz, y'all. Who got it? Come on with it.
This is the book of 1 John, chapter 2, verse 3. And hereby we do know that we know him.
Mm-hmm.
If we keep his commandments.
If we do what?
Keep his commandments.
The most important thing that you can teach your child is to what? Keep God's commandments. I know you may think it's important to teach them about the 401k, the Roth RAs, and what else they got? The some kind of the Wall Street trapper and all those things. You know what I'm saying? Forex and all that trading and all that drop shipping. But if the Bible says what? Read that again.
And hereby we do know that we know him.
We need to teach our children. This is how you know the Father. We need to teach our children that guess what? Everything that you think you're getting away with, the Father sees it. You understand? That's how you scare the hell out of a child. Hey, you better stop that. God gonna see you. You know what I'm saying? You better put that down. He knows you're not keeping his law, statutes, and commandments. There's a God. But how much of the world is teaching the truth about who the Most High is and what he can and what he can't do? Nobody. Because the world says the Lord loves the sinner, hates the sin, and loves the sinner, right? And the whole time you can't figure out why babies are dying at an early age. Why the drive-by shooting and all the thugs live, but this 2-year-old kid gets shot. Every other week, there's another child getting shot in the back seat of some gangster. And somebody want to ask why. Well, your boyfriend's a gangster, ma'am. And you've been holding the work at your apartment for the last 2 months, ma'am. So when you're dealing with a whole bunch of rats and thieves and they know you the one holding, guess what? They coming to see you. And no longer, and back in the day, you may have heard the rules that women and children are off limits. Y'all ever heard that? Not no more. They gonna kidnap you, your child, and the baby mama. Everybody going in the back seat till you give it up. And all that is happening because what? We're not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. We're being disobedient. So when those things come to you, they knock on your door for you being disobedient. You got to know, okay, that's on you. That's on you. So we talking about raising up a child. Read that verse again, y'all.
And hereby we do know that we know him.
So we're going to teach our children. You know how, you probably was raised to say the Lord's Prayer your whole life, right? But then nobody ever teach you to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. You sung, Jesus loved me, this I know, for the Bible tells me. Look, you remember that? But anybody ever tell you why? Why the Lord loves you? Because they're obedient. That's like a good daughter or a good son, right? Read on.
If we keep his commandments. Verse 4. He that saith, I know him, and keep not his commandments is a liar.
Say again.
So like it. And keep not his commandment is a liar.
No, read verse 4 again, Baba Kashaw.
He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandment.
So how do you, in the earth, how do people say they know the Lord?
It's like it because they pray to him.
They do what?
They pray to him. They be like, I pray to Jesus, he know me.
He know my heart, right?
Right.
What else? What does people say? Lord is my shepherd. He know what I want. All that.
Right. They said I got a personal relationship.
I got a personal relationship with the Lord.
I got a personal relationship. He know my heart.
He know my heart. Nah, he that say he love him. But how do you know the Lord? How would your child know you, Baba Kashaw? How? How would your child know you? Come on.
If they're obedient to what you say, if they follow what you put laid down, meaning, my child knows me, even through like non-discursive communication. I mean, I can look at him if he's doing something that other kids is doing. I only got to tell him what it is. I just look at him like, he know I better not do that. My child obeys me. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the foundation I laid down and, my laws and rules, he follows them. That's how I know my child knows me.
You ever get ready to discipline your child and they be like, I already know what you're going to say. You ever done that before? That's who the Most High is. Like we should be that willing to be obedient to the Father. Like when we go to look at a woman that's already married, we should already be like, Lord, I know you don't want huh? Lord, if I lay down with her, I already know, Father. Oh man, I pay these tithes. Oh Lord, yeah. That's how it should be. And understanding and doing that, you're showing your willingness to be a brother to your entire nation that way. You understand? It's not just about you. It's about all your brothers and your sisters. You understand? You can't get to a point where you just feel like, no, I'm going to skip out on this one. And then when you get smacked, then what happens? Lord, I come to you in a time of need, Father. Yeah. But the need should have been you being obedient from the beginning, right? That's how you know you know him, right? Read on where y'all.
Verse 4. He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandment.
Right. So that's what Kawal was just saying. You know your son, but if your son or your daughter isn't doing what you commanded, then if they say, Mom, I love you, Mom. You ever had a child try to hug on you and be like, Dad, I love you. Like, damn, son, no, you don't. You can't love me. Because, wait a minute, I'm bailing you out of jail right now, son. Huh? I'm getting you I'm putting up my house for collateral right now for you, son. What kind of love is that? Right? Read on.
And the truth is not in him.
But he's a what?
Is a liar.
He's a liar. Go ahead.
And the truth is not in him.
Right. Read on.
Verse 5. But whoso keepeth his word, in him verily is the love of God perfected.
So if you keep your word, right, the love of the Father is perfected, man. So I'm going back to what Kawal said earlier. Your son know you. Like when you say stop, he stops. You say, "Yep, that's my boy." Hey, y'all calm down back there. Yep, that's my boy. He did what? No, my son wouldn't have done that. My daughter wouldn't have done that. That's that thing that we all need. We all are measuring how much we mean to each other based on your actions, based on what you do. And the Father said, if you're not keeping my law, statutes, and commandments, you are a what? You're a liar. So we talking about raising children. The most important thing that we can teach our kids is being obedient to the Father. Like we can leave this earth tomorrow. You understand what I'm saying? You can be out of here tomorrow. But the one thing I remember now, my folks were Christian, but when you say the Lord's Prayer, it ignites something in you for the rest of your life that you always seek out answers about things you don't understand. You say the Lord's Prayer your whole life and never understood what it meant at all. You come into the ISUBK and the Lord's Prayer just it matriculate. That's a word, but I can use that one. All right, it matriculate into something that's what you call it? It'll morph into something else, right? All right, yeah. So you come in here, you learn the truth of the Bible and the Lord's Prayer. It turns into something else. It turns into something that you were just reciting into something that you really know, right? That in school, in grade school, what they teach you? 1 + 1 is what? 2 + 2 is what? 3 + 3 is what? 4 + 4 is what? Y'all remember that? But then you start understanding, like, wait a minute. Okay, it's more than just a rhyme. Right. And that's how you raise children. You raise children by teaching them the alphabet, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. But then when you get old enough, you start understanding that L, M, N, O, P wasn't all one thing, bunch, y'all. Right. They're all different letters, if I may. But growing up, when you think L, M, N, O, P is what? Y'all ever, you thought it all go together. You thought that, or you knew that? You knew it didn't go together. You knew it didn't go together. You smart. You smart. Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know that until about the 7th grade. Damn, element, that's a whole lot of letters. Yeah. You see what I'm saying, Quadon? Well, that's what Christianity does to our people, right? It blinds us so we don't see the full thing or get the full picture of the things that we don't understand. So we look at the Bible like LMNOP, and it's LMNOP. You understand? Even in alphabets, A, B, C, instead of singing the words because it becomes redundant through being repeated, you understand every letter has a sound. And it's not just you singing it as a place for it, unless you're spelling words like knife and you just completely confused. And you thinking like knife. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, that's English though. That's the bastards that we live up under, right? So everybody 12 on that. So we raising up our children. The most important thing that we can do is teach them the law, statutes, and commandments. Teach them brotherhood. Teach them sisterhood. Teach them how to be obedient. And we teach them the same thing because the Most High looks at us like that too. We're responsible for our babies, right? So if they veer off course, we're there to correct them. You understand? And if they're not doing what we asked them to do, don't lie to me, right? You ever told your child that? Why would you tell a child, don't lie to me, Baba Kashaw? Why would you tell a child that? And the reason why I say that, because clearly they know that lying is wrong, right? But why would you have to say, don't lie to me, right? Why?
So, like, I've said it because you don't want to break the trust between us. Because if you start lying, I won't trust you.
And what else? Because I can't trust you, I also begin to think about what? Some of the decision that I think you may make.
Or may not make.
Or may not make. And that's something to call a burden. Right? So when we talk about raising up children, if they understand how important the law, statutes, and commandments are, and learning and us telling them like, this is how I'm going to trust you. This is the standard that I'm judging you on. Then you can continue to move forward. I'll allow you to do certain things because I know that you are going to make the right decisions. And that's how the Lord looks at us. He gave us law, statutes, and commandments, brotherhood, because he wants us to emphasize them throughout our generations. So he can damn near predict the decisions that we're going to make. Versus when we said earlier, we ended up in here because we did not listen to what our father said. And we made some terrible decisions. And that lack of brotherhood caused us to be in this empire right now. That lack of sisterhood caused us to be in this empire right now. That lack of being obedient to the law, statutes, and commandments to our Father caused us to be in this hellhole right now. You understand? Drop that. Let me get the book of Proverbs 22:6, Baba Kashaw. We good on that?
Come on, got it.
Come on with it. Read it loud and strong.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
So break that down for me. What does that mean?
It's like you were saying earlier, teaching your kids the law, sections, and commandments, so that when they do get older, they'll be able to teach it to their kids.
I mean, you're right. You're on it, but like make it plain for me. Come on, Bunk, yo.
So, like, if I may, so it says train up a child, not to debase a child, not to discourage a child. You know, your job as a parent is to inspire, encourage, and uplift this child
Thanks.
in the way he should go. So, you want to, instill a sense of, when it comes down to these law, statutes, commandments, a sense of pride, a sense of identity in the child. That's what you want them to follow. That's what you want them to hold in high esteem or to honor. It's following the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So like that's it.
Facts. Let me see, can I paint the picture for everybody that's in the room or maybe listening, okay? If you have any question about tonight's class, put it in the chat and we'll get to it, Baba Kashaw. But we talking about training up a child. You can't take a child that's 14 years old and begin to pop them.
Right.
You understand? You can't take a 14-year-old child and be like, put that down, don't steal. You know, by that time they smoking weed and sniffing cocaine. It's too late. Right? You start early with a child. Why I say train up a child. By that time you ever, that little popping at 2 is effective. You understand? You can't put it, it's hot. Hot. No. You know what I'm saying? You do that? But you see parents that neglect their children until they get to the age of maybe 7, and then it's like, damn, your child bad as hell. You know what I'm saying? Now you want to become the ultimate warrior on your kids. You know what I'm saying? You want to be like Hulk and Animal on your kids. Dusty Rhodes and boom. My kid listen to me. No. What it shows is like you didn't teach them at an early age. You catch a child at an age of they begin to understand and walk and they begin to explore things. You teach them how to say, no, sir. Sit down. No, down, sit down. It don't take much then, you understand? But if you wait till they of age, when they start formulating their own idea about life, instead of listening to you, you're gonna have problems on your hand. You're gonna have problems on your hand. And I'm saying this because you're gonna have children that goes into the school system, right? And they're gonna have to deal with children that have not been raised the way you may have raised your children. You understand? They're gonna encounter children that have not been told no. They're going to encounter children that have not been told we don't celebrate holidays. Right. They're going to encounter children that, guess what, that can be jealous of a brother. They're going to encounter children that be jealous of your lunch pail. And guess what you have to do? You have to teach your kids to protect themselves. Now, It ain't my fault if you do something silly and my child is protecting themselves. That ain't on me. What happened to yours is yours because we raise our children to be respectful. You understand? We raise our children to be obedient to the father. That's why we bring them to class. Not teaching your children how to be obedient to the father, how to be polite to one another. That's lack of brotherhood. You understand? That's lack of sisterhood. All of that goes together. Ain't no way around it, right? So when you talk about training up a child, you teach them how to be brothers early. You teach them how to be sisters early. So that way, when they encounter people who are not so brotherly or not so sisterly, they know how to conduct themselves. But we're not raised like that. When we get that, when we come into the school, when the Lord shows enough mercy on us and we done got out behind kicked enough, we begin to seek our answers on how to fix our lives because we're in shambles, right? And that's what happened to children when they're not raised right. Children that are not raised right, by the time they hit 15, 16 years old, their life is in shambles mentally. They're destroyed. They don't know what's right, what's wrong. Some of them are just living. So when we raise children, we do it together. We do it together according to the Bible. That's what raises that what used to raise our communities back in the day. Your kid did something wrong, Mr. Charlie, he'd go to the school and like Miss such and such. I seen Jonathan punching some kid in the eye over there the other day. What you think Mr. Charlie gonna say? Y'all put that down over there. Y'all boys coming down. Right. It's not enough of that going on in the earth right now. Right. Everybody on their goddamn phone looking at some whatever the hell they want to look at, right? And nobody's watching over these children. Nobody is training up these children the way they should go, right? Read that verse again.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
Train up a child in the way he should go.
Now, what way is that? Come on. Meaning what? His what? You're right, but as a certain way, I'm only asking you to say it this way for you, okay? What is that way? His what? You're right, but put it all together. His law, statutes, and commandments. Most High Christ. Give him a hand, boy. As a young man, as a trooper, that phrase there, brotherhood, law, statutes, and commandments. That's gonna ring in your ears for the rest of your life. You understand? It damn near you gonna wake up out of your sleep, law, statutes, and commandments. You gonna be like, you gonna be messed up. Law, statutes, and commandments. That's what save our lives, though. That's what save our babies' lives. You understand? Because that's what goes through your mind. Like, I know what I would do in certain situations. I know what I would do, but what did the Lord cause me to do? You know what you would do. You know exactly what you would do, and in your mind, you'd be perfectly right. But what did the Lord cause us to do? See, we want to live right here, but the Lord wants us to live like. Right? That's how we raise our children. This empire teaches them they can do whatever that they want, whatever makes them feel good, whatever dreams that they have, all these things they inspire to be. It's like this. What the Lord wanted them to be. Right. All of those things mean nothing. They come up to nothing if they're not obedient to the Father, right? Drop that. Let me get Proverbs 13 and 24, Baba Kashaw.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 13, verse 24. Mm-hmm. He that spareth his rod hateth his son, mm-hmm. but he that loveth him chasteneth. Chasteneth him betimes.
What does that mean?
Well, Salakia, he that hateth his rod hateth his son. It's like, is that like, it's like,
No, read it again.
uh,
Read it again.
it's
Read
like,
it
he
again.
that spareth his rod hated his son.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, is it talking? It's like this talking like not getting uncircumcised. And shit. Oh, I don't know.
Come on, sis. You want to try?
Salakia, he that spareth his rod hated his son. It means that he who does not discipline his son hates his son. But he that loveth his son, he chastises his son. So if you don't chastise your children, you hate them. When you correct them and chastise them, that's love.
Right. Give a sister a hand. What's in Christ? But what does it mean to spare something? Y'all know what it means to spare something? Come on.
Meaning not to do it or go through with it, to stop.
True. To withhold, right? To spare. What you about to say, warrior?
You can do something to somebody and you don't do it.
You can spare, yeah. You got a definition?
This is Merriam-Webster's definition of spare. Not being used, being over and above what is needed, not liberal or profuse, healthily lean, not abundant or plentiful,
Start with the first one. Well, I like the first one. Go ahead.
not being used.
Not being used, right? So the Lord always taught us in metaphorically in a way that we understand what life is. He didn't do all these, all this. Come on.
It was a better one. It's like with the verb, which
Go ahead.
is context. To forbear, to destroy, punish or harm,
Right.
to refrain from attacking or reprimanding with necessary or salutary severity, to relieve of the necessity of doing or underdoing something, to refrain from, and what do you say? Yep, to avoid, to use or dispense frugally, to give up as not strictly needed, to have left over or as margin. But that first one was to forbear, to destroy, punish, or harm.
Now, the other one that you said, it was the necessary as well. So we talk about sparing the rod, like, right? Beating your children excessively is never a good thing. Because at some point, you know what a child is going to become after you beat them so much? They're going to become immune to it. Like, you can only beat them so much. At some point, they're going to be like, you know what? It don't bother me. And guess what happened? They're going to take it out on somebody else. Lord says, spare the rod. So what is a rod used for? Come on.
Beating, discipline,
True, but what else?
correction.
True, what else?
Salakia.
Who would use a rod, more or less?
Salakia, if I may, like a shepherd.
A shepherd. And the shepherd is using the rod. Come on, Kawal.
Or a schoolmaster.
Yes.
Or a teacher.
A teacher to do what?
Guide.
Right.
To guide or what else?
To guide, to correct, to keep in line.
Y'all ever wonder why I take that staff? It is used to get attention, right? You talk about, read the verse again.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 13 and verse 24. He that spareth his rod.
Right. So sparing the rod, right? That thing that is necessary. You know what I'm saying? You're not doing what's necessary, right? You're sparing this rod. Read on.
Hateth his son.
So that rod is used for correction. That rod is used for guidance, right? That rod is used for discipline. But if you're not doing any of those things for your children, right? What happened? You hate them. This Bible right here is used for what? Correction. This is a rod right here, right? This is your staff, your sword, and it can be used for guidance or correction. So you spare the law, statutes, and commandments. You spare the brotherhood. Guess what? You hate your son. You hate your son or your daughter. Because why? Because it is needed for us, man. it's so needed. Out of all the things that we do from day in and day out, these things are needed: correction, guidance, discipline, and they're used to what? Raise a child in the way that they should go, to train up a child, not doing whatever that they want to do. We use these things to guide them, right? Read into that.
But he that loveth him chasteneth him betimes.
So when you love him, you do what?
Chasteneth
Uh-huh.
him betimes.
What that betimes mean? You're chastening it betimes.
The Google Dictionary says before the usual or expected time, early.
It says what now?
Before the usual or expected time, early.
Early, expediently, before things get out of hand, before things get in a way where you can't control it. That's what we have to be. We have to be proactive with raising our children. We can't be reactive. This world is moving so fast, and our children are exposed to so much. Like, we have to teach them according to the word of the Most High every day that we can. Right. All right. Drop that. Let me get the book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 17. Mm-hmm. Come on.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 13.
Go ahead. 17.
Oh, so like it, verse 17. Learn to do well, seek judgment, reveal the oppressed, judge the fatherless, plead for the widow.
All right, so break that down.
Like when it says learn to do well, meaning to do the law section in its commandments, and then seek judgment, meaning to seek judgment.
No, you just ran past all that. You said learn to do well, mean what?
Oh no, I said to do the law section of the commandment.
Right. So I mean, what does that mean? What is the practical application of it? I'm taking bunk, y'all. How do you learn to do well?
By actually putting the law sections of commandments to work. By not eating pork and not celebrating your birthday and not doing the things that people in the world do.
And tonight's class is about what?
About brotherhood and treating your brother and your sister like how they should be treated.
So when you talk about brotherhood, you're learning to do well. You put brotherhood or sisterhood in the front of all that, you'll learn to do well. If you look at a situation and be like, the situation that he's in, I could be in that situation. That's how you would do that. You learn to be, my real tell me, more considerate of certain things when you talk about brotherhood or sisterhood. That's how you learn to do well. You understand? You got to be it's part of our responsibility to take care of the community, right? And raising up children, strong, smart, obedient children is part of this responsibility, right? Learn to do well. Read on.
Seek judgment.
Seek judgment. Come on. So what does it mean to seek judgment? How do you seek judgment?
Seek judgment, but like correction or like stuff that you've done wrong or stuff that you're doing, like
come on.
I got the definition of judgment.
Please.
Merriam-Webster.
Mm-hmm.
The process of forming an opinion or evaluation by discerning and comparing.
Right.
An opinion or estimate so formed.
Right. So when you talk about children and things they do, what are children always saying? What are they always looking at? Well, Tommy had this and Gerald had this. Why can't I have what they had? You got to raise the children up to be like, son, you don't understand. They come ask questions. Don't do it the way you think you should do it. Go ask somebody who's an adult. Lord willing, somebody who's keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? Right. That's what we do in here. That's what part of raising the children in the ISUPK is about. When you see them at the Passover, our children have known to seek out judgment. We raise them in a manner to always what? Want to do well. You can see kids go all like, man, my kids I seen them at the Passover, but I didn't see them at the Passover. Why? Because you know how they are raised in a particular environment. And this what? Community, right? That's brotherhood. Brotherhood works because we all make it work. It don't work because you think, oh damn, I got brotherhood. You understand? That ain't how brotherhood works. Brotherhood works because we make it work. And who benefits from it? Our children, the generation. But remember, we send our children out as sheep in the months of what? Wolves, man. So we prepare our sons and daughters to deal with things that the average kid wouldn't even understand. But it's our job to let them understand, hey, you better seek out some judgment before you do something that you cannot redo or undo, right? Always seek judgment, seek to do well, right? Read on.
Relieve the oppressed.
Relieve the oppressed. Don't see your brother going through something and not want to do something about it. You can't raise those kids like that. We raise our kids to be with us when we go out and we feed the poor. When we have food and clothing programs. While we take our babies with us. When they see us at the table, we go out to eat. Guess what they see us do? They see us give a tip. All those things are important in what? Raising children. And if they see you do it long enough, what they'll say, Daddy, why you leave that on the why you leaving money on the table? And what you gonna say? I left a tip. What a tip mean? To ensure service promptly. You knew that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. that what tip mean. You let them know up front, hey, I got my party coming in, we're gonna tip you after we leave out of here. I want to ensure that my service is prompt to get what's needed. Right? You can't ask somebody who already they may be having a bad day on their slavery, right? So you would tip them, and your children would see you do it, and they'd be like, well, why you do that? Because I want to let them know, like, hey, I understand. Right? You relieve the oppressed. Read on.
Judge the fatherless.
How do you judge the fatherless? How do you judge the fatherless? Come on, warrior.
Judge the father. Oh, judging the fatherless is like explaining to females why you can't wear this or why you can't go out like looking like a whore.
What you mean? Like the fatherless, right? Yeah. Now this for you. Now the trooper that you are, right? What are some of the mistakes that you may have made in life that you don't make today? Come on, let's get with it.
So like before I came in here, Officer Babanke was on me about it, about like having communications.
Hold on, stop. You said who was on you about it?
Officer Babanke.
Officer Babanke was on you about what?
Pause. Communication skills.
Your communication skills, right? So why was he on you about it?
I had went out to Charlotte and I had
don't go there.
Oh, it's like
why was he on you about it?
Oh, it's like because he was like a father figure.
Thank you. Give him my hand. You understand? So you think about all the things that you go through in life without a real influence on what's right and what's wrong. Like so many times you talk about this earth. That was a big thing a couple weeks ago, and brothers was getting into the discussion of raising like stepchildren, if I may, and things like that. And the biggest thing was, well, if you want to be with a woman that has children, that's twa, brother. If you don't, then don't. You know what I'm saying? That's not a big deal at all. You understand? Either way, we understand earlier tonight, it's still it's part of your burden. You understand? It's part of responsibility. And guess what? And if you're going to be in a child's life, judge the fatherless. Meaning what? you tell them, hey, listen, that's not a good idea. You should learn how to communicate better, brother. Hey, Johnny, hey, get out that corner over there, boy. You know they killing over on that corner. Being able to say what's right and what's wrong. That's what raises children, Bunky, y'all. In the absence of fathers and mothers, you still have somebody there in place to what? Actually cares about them. You understand? That's brotherhood. To be somewhere and somebody recognize your children and be like, hey, ain't you Zion child? Zion, your father would not be pleased in what he's seeing you do right now. That's brotherhood, all right? Same thing with sisters. If you see a young lady that may be dressed provocatively and you know that she represents the ISUPK and you know that we stand for the Lord and you choose not to say anything to the sister, are you looking out for her? All of those things go together when we're talking about what? Raising children. It's important. A father is there to guide, man, to be that rod of correction. Then everybody else in the house follows, right? Well, it takes nothing for you to be a man to a sister who has kids and you do not want to stick your penis in her. Why is it that when you see what is it with us that the world pushes like a woman isn't important unless you're having sex with her? Like her kids aren't important, Bunk, y'all? She has kids. Clearly she sees she has trouble with the kids. Hey, sis, you got a son? I'll get him. Let him come over and play with my boys for a couple weeks. I'll take him to class. Class? Yeah, we raised young. I knew it was something about your son. They always talking about shalom. Yeah. I'll come get yours. They're going to be talking about shalom too. Right. And that helps the sister. You understand? But when you talking about helping out a sister, the only thing you want to do is have sex with her, she know what you're coming for. Young man Lamont, she know why you being nice to her. she know why you keep snooping around. But sometimes, in some situations, it is better just to help her raise those sons and those daughters according to the law, statutes, and commandments. It's better. Because who knows? She may just change her life based on how she see you treat those children. And then she may want to continue to change her life. Who knows? That's important when we're talking about raising children. There's a way to do it and there's a way not to do it, all right? That was the end of that verse?
Law.
Please read on.
Plead for the widow.
Plead for who?
The widow.
Why would you plead for the widow?
Lucky her husband died.
And? So what? Husband died. What did that mean? Come on. What does that mean? Her husband died and what?
To help her mourn with it.
So what now?
To help her get over the mourning of it.
What you mean help her heal the mourning? Come on, brother. There is no answer that you're going to give that's wrong about what you're thinking of. Let's go. So what do you mean to help her with her mourning or what else? What else can you help her with outside of the mourning? Think about brotherhood, right? You have a sister that has lost a husband. You're right, she's mourning. But what else can you help a sister with that does not have a husband? Or who has lost a husband?
So, it's like about like being there for her, like taking her out, getting her back in the spirit.
How would you do that?
It's like by teaching her.
Teaching her what? It's like, sis, your husband gonna rise again. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Reassurance.
Reassurance. What else?
And comforting her.
How? Like I'm trying to. What you're saying is right. Everything you're saying, but you can't just say comforting to her if you're gonna be a teacher.
All right.
You understand? So when you talk about comforting a widow, how would you comfort a widow? Come on with it, Quadon. Help the brother out.
It's like, sir, with comforting her, you give a reconfirmation. You know, it's like, you know what I'm saying? You like
You're
sis,
doing you're doing the same thing he's doing. Like, how do you do it?
by your actions of what you're doing. So
Meaning what?
it's like, you know, with the widow, if you pleading with the widow, is like, if she needs something, you're gonna make sure it's provided for her, you
Need
know,
what?
help, protection.
What work? What help? What protection?
Uh,
Don't y'all know, like you like a woman lose a husband, she's worrying about every damn thing, guy. She worrying about the grass. She worrying about the cars. She worrying about the grandkids. She's worrying about the bills. She worrying about the roof. She worrying about the plumbing. She worrying about the bats that's in the attic. She worrying about the birds that's on the front desk. She worrying about the bird cage. She worrying about the dog that her husband done left. She worrying about everything, guy. We gotta be the people that go to a widow and be like, hey, I can do this. I can be there for you, right? That's brotherhood. That's sisterhood. That's how you raise a community, right? If you raise your children up, hey, go down there and see what your Aunt Beverly need. You know, she lost her husband. Go down there and see what your auntie need. Yo, any of y'all raised like that? Y'all, you know what I'm saying? Your parents didn't teach y'all that growing up. Anybody ever said that? So when they said those things to you, what did that mean? What do those things, what do they all encompass? Kawal, you said it earlier. I'm gonna see who else is paying attention. What do all those things encompass?
Oh, it's like teaching.
Teaching what else? Not thinking about yourself. That's brotherhood. That's brotherhood. When you're not thinking about yourself, that's actually sisterhood. You ever been in a situation where you could have clearly made it about yourself, and in your mind you would have been perfectly fine? But what happens when you make it about somebody else and helping somebody else? Do you get more out of it? Right? Yes. That's where we want to be. So you see a widow that clearly is trouble, bunk, y'all. Hey, it's like, sis, you know, I know you lost your husband. Is there anything I can do to help? You know what I'm saying? Y'all, you get it. That's how Lord want us to be. Not sitting around waiting on her to get the damn the check that comes with it. the insurance check, you know what I'm saying? The life insurance policy. You sitting back waiting for the life insurance policy to come. I'll check your mailbox, Miss Samantha. I'll check. Wait to see you see that. What's one of them life insurance companies? Prudential. you wait on that Prudential check to come in the mail. AARP and all that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What's that State Farm check? Come on, man. No, we're supposed to be there for them, and that's how we should raise our children. Because if we raise them like that, guess what they're going to do? They're going to honor their mother and their father, their Salakia, their father and their mother. But if we don't raise them like that, when they get old, or when we get old, guess what they're going to do? They'll be like, oh, I can't wait till daddy die so I can drive that Buick that I've been waiting to drive. You know what I'm saying? They sit back wait on you to kick the rocks. All right. Drop that. Let me get Zechariah 7 and 9. We're going to end it on this. Zechariah 7 and 9.
Khan, it's the book of Zechariah, chapter 7, verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
Thus speaketh the Most High of hosts, saying, execute true judgment.
That's Salakia, Kodam. Let the trooper, young man, read about for sure.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 7 and verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, execute true judgment
Mm-hmm.
and show mercy and compassions every man to his brother.
To every man to his brother, man. Execute true judgment and mercy and compassion. This is how you raise children. This is part of raising up a child. You're teaching. Imagine telling your son and your daughter this right here. Read that verse again. But we saying this using what? The Bible. So you would take this sword or this rod of correction, and you would raise your child based on this. Read it again.
Thus speaketh the Lord
This is what the Lord's going to tell us how to raise our children. Read on.
of hosts,
Mhm.
saying, execute true judgment.
Be willing to always tell the truth, man. Be willing to tell the truth, you know what I'm saying, and correct somebody and not be cruel about it, man. You ain't got to be nasty. That's a way to tell everybody that they're wrong and not be cruel about it. You know what I'm saying? Some people, man, you stepped on my shoes, man. Hey, man, the hell with your you just started something. My bad, brother. I ain't mean to stay. Yeah. Them ain't real Jordans anyway. You know what I'm saying? All right? That's a way to do it. Execute true judgment, right? And
Execute true judgment and show mercy.
so when you're executing this judgment, when you're talking about children, have some mercy, right? Have some compassion. Take a little bit off of it. You know what I'm saying? Read on.
And compassions.
Go ahead.
Every man to his brother.
Read on.
Verse 10. And oppress not the widow.
Right. Don't be trying to get over on the woman who has no protection. There's no man in the house to protect her. Read on.
Nor the fatherless.
And isn't that what we said earlier? We talking about the fatherless. Read on.
Nor the fatherless, the stranger, nor the poor, and let none of you imagine evil against his brother in your heart.
This is what brotherhood is built on. You can't imagine evil in your heart, man. Don't be looking to get back on your brother or your sister, man. Don't be plotting to do evil against them, huh? You know what I'm saying? Don't do it to them, the poor, the stranger. Don't do none of that to the fatherless. That's brotherhood. Those are the characteristics or the type of character that you want your children to have. You want them to be innocent, bunk, y'all. Be pure in their judgments. Not with malice, not with hatred, not with revenge, not being evil, but having mercy, right? Read on.
Verse 11. But they refused to hearken and pulled away the shoulder and stopped their ears that they should not hear.
You see what happens? We tell them what to do and how to do it the right way. But the ones that don't, they'll pull away. They refuse to hearken. They'll cover their ears. And guess where they'll end up? On cargo slave ships. So it's our job to raise them according to this word, man. The law, statutes, and commandments, brotherhood, and how they should act, man. With dignity, honor, respect. And this world, once again, they are not teaching this. They're not teaching this to their children. So we have to teach our children how to defend themselves, to block, to duck, and throw punches if need be. But the goal is to not have them imagining evil to do to a brother, imagining evil to do to a sister, not thinking of ways to be spiteful or to get over on them. You understand? That's not how we want to raise our children. The children come in here, man, you see them, they are without blemish. You understand? But when they leave out of here and they go into this hateful world, they are fighting all the things that we teach about in the ISUPK. And if we do it right, they become a direct reflection of how we live our lives. And if you're doing it wrong, they'll become a direct reflection of how you live in your life. And with that, I'm going to bring the preaching prophet of the Lord up, Kwadam Yahweh, for the announcement, Bob Kushah.
Security announcements. We are the ISUPK. Start out of 1 West 125th Street, operating under Commander General Hunter. So like in Harlem, New York, operating under Commander General Hunter. Room for new brother or sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18 and 21, Malachi 3, 8 through 10, means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'ashera. 10% of every penny of any increase the Most High gives you. Give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocation. We are in the Feast of First Fruits. We will be celebrating the closing of it on Sunday, April the 9th, Slakia. May the 29th, 2023. It'll be starting at sundown. And you can find it in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, the 10th verse through 22nd verse. It says, announce all, Slakia, you check on your bulletin boards for everything that's coming up. You know, tune into America on Fire, Ask You the Prophets, Chain Breakers, Let a Hebrew Speak, many more, man. And all the different cookouts that's going on, good to your camp leader and all that. Says, if anyone want to be a trooper in the school to start wearing all black boots, shirts, pants, headband, and scarf. With that, I admonish them in the stand. Sister, stay seated. Men of Israel, we're going to render one courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Amab Shabbat, Imagine, Barak, Yahya Matah, Sar, meaning turn and face the sister. Sister, stand. Stand, Baba Kasha. When you do it, put your right hand over your hand like this. There you go. Head down. Or sign Christ. Men of Israel, we're going to render one courtesy salute unto the sisters. Men of Israel, Amab Shabbat, Imagine, Barak, Yahweh Shema, Lathaba, Shem Yahweh Shah. Take your right hand, put it over your heart. Repeat after me. Yahweh, Shema, Al, Atah, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah. Yah Matah, class dismissed.
LJ trying to get it from he gonna have to.
Yeah, I see it.
Get on right.
Good. Try to get it right. What you got?